What is going on, college sports fans? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be filling out Joe Lunardi's updated bracketology, and this is updated on Friday, February 18th, which is the same day I'm going to be uploading this video, so it is up to date. This is the bracketology. I have taken it and put it into a PDF bracket, and I'm going to fill it out for you guys here in this video. So this is going to be my first bracket I'm filling out of 2022. I know it's going to look a lot different come March when the actual bracket comes out, but I thought this would be a fun series maybe to do once a week as the brackets get updated. And yeah, real quick, I just want to say subscribe if you guys are new. We do a ton of college basketball content here on the channel. Definitely check it out. Hit that sub button. We're close to 1,000, so help your boy out. And yeah, let's get it started, man. First off, we'll do these top two regions, and then we will work our way down. So starting up in the top left, we got Gonzaga versus Norfolk State as the 1 versus 16. And I'm going to go with Zaga, man. I don't think they're going to be losing to a 16 seed. Just too good, man. Too good. Not too much to say there. Wyoming versus Murray State. This is a fun 8-9 matchup. I really do like this Wyoming team, but I am way too high on Murray State to have them lose here versus Wyoming. Murray State has been killing it lately, and in my bracketology, I actually had Murray State as the 7th seed because I just like this team a lot. They're undefeated in their conference. I think they're like 24-2. They are an awesome team, and I think they get a tough draw here, having to play Gonzaga in the second round. But hey, we'll get there. We'll get there. But hey, I really do like this Murray State team. I like them a lot. Alabama versus either North Carolina or Creighton. Whoever wins that last four in game gets to play Alabama, and I'm going to pick Alabama because I just don't have enough trust in North Carolina or Creighton to be able to get the job done. And I do think that Alabama they are inconsistent, but whenever they're on, and they have been on here in the last few games, they can get it done, man. I definitely do think they will get it done against either one of these teams. They're in the first round. Wisconsin versus Iona in the first round, 4 versus a 13, man. This one is interesting because I do like this Iona team a lot as a 13 seed, but man, Wisconsin is a good team. You know, they got Johnny Davis. He is a player who could take over a game like this. He's been in contention for Player of the Year in the regular season, so it's tough, man. We all know Iona has Rick Pitino. Love him or hate him, he's a great coach. I would love to pick Iona here. I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. You know what? You got to go with some upsets, man. Give me Iona. They're well coached. They're a good team. I think that they will have a good defensive game plan for a guy like Johnny Davis, and I actually don't like that. I actually don't hate that matchup for Iona too much. So, yeah, give me Iona, man, to pull off the upset, 13 over a 4. We're getting the upsets going early today, man. Let's get it. LSU versus San Francisco, and San Francisco, man, they got a good player who's going to be an NBA player here after next season, and LSU, man, this is tough. I really want to pick San Francisco, but do I want to pick back-to-back upsets like that? I kind of do. I like San Fran a lot. They got off to a hot start this year. They kind of cooled down in the West Coast Conference play, but man, I'm not too high on LSU, man. Give me San Fran 11 over a 6. 2 back-to-back upsets. I like it, man. I like the San Fran team. Give me them to move on to the second round. UCLA versus Seattle. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I don't know too much about the Seattle team, so give me UCLA. I do think a 3 seed for UCLA at this point is a generous seed, just because they haven't been playing their best basketball as of late. But that does not mean that they can't get turned up come tournament time and get hot again whenever the tournament starts. I think that could very well happen with UCLA. They have a really good team. They made the Final Four last year. Give me UCLA to win here in round 1 against Seattle. 7 versus 10. Some of my favorite matchups are in the 7-10 in the first round. Are always a good game. Marquette versus Loyola Chicago. And this one would be awesome to watch. Both these teams are really fun. We all know Loyola Chicago. They made the Final Four run back in 2018. Last year they made it to the Sweet 16, upset a 1 seed in Illinois. Marquette, their coach, Shaka Smart, he's been doing some good things this year, though. And he also has a Final Four appearance there whenever he used to coach VCU. So, interesting, man. Interesting. Shaka Smart also lost last year in the first round to a 14 seed whenever he used to coach at Texas, though. So, I don't know, man. This is a tough one to pick. I'm going to go with Marquette, though. I like this Marquette team this year. Loyola Chicago, they make runs. They're a solid team. I think not this year, man. Not this year. I love Loyola Chicago, but not this year. Texas Tech, Long Beach State at the 15. Give me Texas Tech. I really do like this Texas Tech team this year. They just beat Baylor a couple days ago, and they have swept Baylor on the season. I think whenever they played them in Waco, Baylor did have some injuries, but they do also have a dub against Kansas. I think they split with Kansas. They swept Baylor this year. Texas Tech, one of my favorite sleeper teams in this tournament. So give me Texas Tech to win that one for sure against Long Beach State. Let's go ahead and finish this one all the way to the Final Four, then we'll move on to this one and so on. Gonzaga versus Murray State as a 1 versus 9 seed. This is a good one. I really like Murray State this year, but they get a tough draw, man. A really tough draw. Gonzaga is just too good, man. I'm going to have to... I have to go with Gonzaga. It's tough because I really love this Murray State team this year, but I got to go with Gonzaga. Alabama versus Iona. Now, we've seen this matchup earlier in the year, and Iona actually beat Alabama. So I'm going to have to go with Iona to the Sweet 16. Give me the 13-seeded Rick Pitino head coach team to the Sweet 16 and upset Alabama. Even though Iona beat them earlier in the year, it's still upset 13-5. They're in the second round. San Francisco versus UCLA. Give me UCLA. I think the more I think about it, the more I think that UCLA is going to turn it up come tournament time and get through at least a couple rounds. So give me UCLA to the Sweet 16. Marquette versus Texas Tech. Now this would be a really fun matchup as well. I love this Texas Tech team, what they do defensively. Marquette is a solid team. Shaka Smart has some experience going up against the Texas Tech because he has just played in the Big 12 for a while. This is a tough team. This is a tough game to pick, man. I know it's a 7-2, but it's a tough game for me to pick right now. I really do like what this Texas Tech team does defensively. So I kind of want to pick them, but I'm going to pick Marquette here. Upset, 7-2 upset for me. Give me Marquette, man. I think this would be a close game, a close defensive game, but give me Marquette. I know I just gave Texas Tech a lot of praise, and I think that they have Final Four potential, but given the matchup, give me Marquette, man. Why not? Why not? Give me Marquette. Gonzaga versus Iona. This is where Iona's run has to end, man. Give me Gonzaga here in the Elite Eight. And UCLA versus Marquette. I would love to see Marquette beat UCLA here. But like I said, I think UCLA is going to turn it up come tournament time. Give me UCLA. So we got the 1 seed versus the 3 seed here in the Elite Eight. And both of these teams kind of had semi-easy rides to the Elite Eight, given all the upsets. Gonzaga had to face Norfolk State, Murray State, and then Iona. So they have not played a team lower than a 9 seed. And UCLA, they played Seattle, San Francisco, and then Marquette. So both these teams kind of got a little bit of an easy break. Not really, because no games are easy in March Madness tournament. But they wind up here in the Elite Eight. Rematch of last year's Final Four. Who do I have moving on? UCLA or Gonzaga? This is a tough one, man. Gonzaga's so good. But I know UCLA is going to be coming for revenge in this game. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Give me... Because Gonzaga's got the size. Drew Timme. Chet. Give me UCLA. You know what? Give me UCLA, and I know what you guys are thinking. Gonzaga's been very hot. UCLA has cooled down. But Gonzaga did beat them by like 20 earlier in the season. I'm going Zaga. I'm going Zaga, man. I did forget that they played earlier in the year and Gonzaga beat them by like 20 points. It wasn't even close. Give me Gonzaga. I can't trust UCLA to do. Like, I do think they will turn it up come tournament time, and I have them going to the Elite Eight. But, yeah, I can't trust them at this point, how they've been playing. So, let's move on to our next region, man. Okay, so our next region, we got Auburn as our 1 seed going up against UNC Wilmington as our 16. So, yeah, I'm going Auburn. Not much to say here. Auburn's been killing it, and they have looked like one of the, if not the best team in basketball this year. So, Seton Hall versus Notre Dame. Now, this is a fun one. Seton Hall, they got off to a good start, but they've been cooled down recently ever since they got into Big East play, and they've had a lot of games postponed or canceled due to COVID, and they've just slowed down, cooled down lately, and Notre Dame, I'm going Notre Dame, man. They have a win over Kentucky this year. That's a big-time win. And they've been killing it in ACC play. One of the only teams other than Duke to really be playing to that well in ACC conference, really. Ohio State versus Chattanooga. This is an interesting one. Another 5-12 seed matchup, but I'm going to go with Ohio State, man. Ohio State and Alabama, which is the other 5 seed, are very similar to me, and they actually do have a lot of potential to be upset this year. But I'm going to go with Ohio State, man. I think, E.J. Liddell, they're going to get it rolling. But I do like Chattanooga. They are a solid team, and they definitely have potential to get a upset win. Texas versus South Dakota State. This is tough. I'm going to go Texas, man. Chris Beard in the tourney is hard to play against. Texas has a solid team. I think this is the year that they actually do make a little bit of a run. So, yeah, give me Texas here. No big upsets here so far in this region. Let's see if that will change. Arkansas versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma fights, man. They've been fighting in the Big 12. It's been hard for them. There's so many good teams in the Big 12. Give me Arkansas. They just got a win against number 1 Auburn, I think, last week at home. That was a crazy win for them. Definitely helped them out a lot, boost them up to a 6 seed, and I would agree with that seeding for them. I like that seed for them a lot. Oklahoma's going to be a tough out at 11, but I think Arkansas will get it done. Villanova versus Wagner, and Wagner is a 14 seed that I would look out for. If they get a little bit of a higher seed or if they get a good matchup, definitely look to maybe pick Wagner in an upset win. But against Nova, I can't do it. Nova's been playing so good. They just got a big win over Providence on the road, and that was a really fun game. Colin Gillespie is very clutch. He could help Nova. He could definitely be one of those players like I talked about, Johnny Davis for Wisconsin earlier. Could be a player who could take over the game, and that doesn't mean that they won't get upset, but I think because of Colin Gillespie, because of Jay Wright being such a great head coach, they'll definitely get past Wagner, but I love this Wagner team a lot this year's tourney. If they get a better draw than this, look out for me maybe picking them in the upset. Colorado State versus Iowa State as the 7-10. I'm going to go with Colorado State, man. Iowa State, they got off to an amazing start. They were playing very good. I think that they were undefeated up until close to conference play, but they have just not been playing too well in the Big 12 Conference, which is not really like the worst thing. Like I talked about Oklahoma too, because the conference is really hard. But yeah, I just don't trust Iowa State enough. Colorado State has been playing awesome there in the Mountain West, so give me Colorado State here. Also, what I was going to say was Iowa State last year, they only had like 2 wins. So for them to even be in the tourney right now is just awesome. Awesome turnaround for them. 2 versus the 15, Purdue versus Jacksonville State. Give me Purdue, man. Purdue, one of the scariest teams in the tourney this year, in my opinion. They have great big men in Travion Williams and also Zach Edey, and then they have absolute closer and scorer, shot creator, shot maker, whatever you want to call him, in Jaden Ivey. So they have a squad there, and I like this Purdue team a lot for sure this year. Auburn versus Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame could maybe have some potential to upset here, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm picking Auburn here to move on to the Sweet 16. Ohio State versus Texas. Now, that would be a pretty fun one. E.J. Liddell, another one of those players who could take over, but I'm going to go with Texas. Chris Beard in the playoffs. Look out for him. He's got a squad here with the Longhorns, and I really do think this is the Longhorns' year to make at least a little bit of a run here to the Sweet 16. So, Arkansas versus Villanova. And I do like this Arkansas team a lot. Nova, experienced coach, experienced team, have a superstar player. Give me Villanova to move on. And this one is probably going to be my most boring region, as I don't have any upsets making it to the Sweet 16. So I'm sorry about that, guys, but I really do think that if this is the way the seeds are, then we might have a 1-4, 2 versus 3. And I know it's probably not likely to happen, but the way that these 4 teams are playing right now, I don't see them getting upset. I mean, this is a tough region. These are all tough outs, and these 2 games right here in the Sweet 16 would be must-watches. So, hey man, that's what I think is going to happen based on these seeds. But yeah, Auburn versus Texas. That would be a fun one, man. I think Texas would have potential to get it done, but I can't do it. I've got to go with Auburn here. Villanova versus Purdue. I think that this one would be an absolute classic, like an instant classic type game, because these teams would be going at it. Imagine Jaden Ivey, Colin Gillespie just going back and forth, man. Crazy. But I got to go with Purdue here in this one. I think that just the size that Nova has, or that Purdue has with Zach Edey and Travion Williams would be able to get it done there. I don't know who Villanova has as a big man that will be able to guard that. Oh my gosh, what happened? What happened? Please do not tell me I lost my bracket. Alright, we're good. Alright, so Auburn versus Purdue, the 1 versus the 2, coming out here to face off for a chance to go into the Final Four. That would be an awesome matchup, man. I'm going to go with Purdue. I do like Auburn a lot, man. And I misspelled Auburn. Sorry about that. I do like Auburn a lot this year, but Purdue is a squad, man. I like Purdue a lot. I definitely think that that would be a fun one. Zach Edey versus Walker Kessler, Jaden Ivey versus Jabari Smith. That is a fun matchup that I would just have to see. I hope that this matchup happens in the in the Elite Eight. That would be amazing. Give me Purdue, man. Give me Purdue. All right, let's go down here to the bottom left region, man. Kansas versus Cleveland State. Give me Kansas. Easy. Boise State versus Miami, 8 versus 9. That is an interesting one. I'm going to go with Boise State, man. These Mountain West teams are tough outs this year. The 3 Mountain West teams, Colorado State, Boise State, and Wyoming. I like Boise State winning that one there against Miami as the 8-9. 5 versus 12, North Texas versus Houston, and I am going to go with North Texas. My first 5-12 upset this bracket, and I'm just not too high on Houston this year, man. I know that they made the Final Four last year. They're still good defensively, but their conference is just not that good. The American Conference is just not that competitive this year, and North Texas is a pretty good team, but they're not my favorite 12 seed. Like, I would love if Chattanooga or I don't really like North Carolina or Creighton this year. I would love if Chattanooga got to face Houston. I would definitely pick Chattanooga like in most of my brackets because that would be a good matchup for them. But yeah, give me North Texas over Houston. North Texas is still a very good team. Illinois versus Ohio, and I like the Bobcats a ton, but to get matched up with Illinois here is a tough one because Illinois has been playing very well, even though they just lost to Rutgers. Rutgers has been on a tear recently, so I don't really knock them too much for that, especially because they had to play in the RAC. Speaking of, USC versus Rutgers, and I'm going with them. I'm going with Rutgers Scarlet Knights to defeat USC, and I just, USC's non-conference games haven't been anything too spectacular to ride home about. They play in a Pac-12 conference that only has a few teams that are going to make the tournament. Give me Rutgers, man. They've been playing awesome. They got 4 ranked wins in a row at the time I'm recording this video, but they do have to play Purdue on the road next, which is going to be a tough one. Talk about tough places to play, man, Mackey Arena, but yeah, give me Rutgers for sure in this one. I like them as the 11 over the 6 upset in that one. Providence versus Texas State. Give me Providence, man. Give me Providence. They have a great closer on that team. They have great players on that team, and they are improving like game after game. I like Providence to go far in the tournament, so give me the Friars to move on. Iowa versus TCU. Give me TCU, man. Give me the Horned Frogs. Moving on to the second round. TCU, they're a football school, man. You don't see them in the tournament often, but they are playing great. They have a good head coach that is really building that program up, and I'm not too high on Iowa. They just lost to Michigan last night. I watched that game. It was a good game. It was a close one, of course. Iowa's not a bad team at all. But, yeah, give me TCU to win that one. TCU's been playing very well. Kentucky versus Colgate here. Give me Kentucky. Easy pick there. Kansas versus Boise State now. This one could be interesting, but give me Kansas. I don't think they're going to lose to Boise State. Boise State is a good team. It could be a little bit close, but, yeah, give me Kansas, man. North Texas versus Illinois, and can North Texas keep riding, man? Like I said, I like this Illinois team a lot. I think Plummer will definitely turn up in the playoffs, and he is a player that if he turns up in the playoffs, he could shoot lights out. And we've seen shooters who, if they get hot at the right time, if they get hot during tournament time, then they can take over games. And I think Plummer could be one of those guys. And then, of course, they have Kofi Coburn, which could be an unstoppable force, especially for a team like North Texas, man. So give me Illinois to move on to the Sweet 16. Rutgers versus Providence. Now, this is a fun one. I think Rutgers could have a chance to maybe upset Providence, but Providence has some good players, man. I like Providence like a lot, but give me Rutgers for the upset. 11 over a 3 seed to move on to the Sweet 16. I don't think I had any double digits seeds make... Oh, I did have Iona. Okay, so this is my second double digit seed to make the Sweet 16. I like him, man. I like this bracket a lot. TCU versus Kentucky. TCU's a solid team, man, but Kentucky, I think who on TCU is gonna be able to stop Oscar Tshiebwe and Ty Wash? I don't see it happening, man. Kentucky, I think, moves on to the Sweet 16 here. Kansas versus Illinois. in the 1 versus the 4. Kansas is a solid team and all. I like Illinois come tournament time. I like Illinois. Give me them. Give me the Illini. Moving on to the Elite 8, man. Let's do it. Rutgers versus Kentucky. Rutgers, can they keep on upsetting their way onto the Elite 8? I'm going to go with no. I'm going to pick Kentucky to move on to the Elite 8 here and defeat Rutgers. Kentucky's just too solid this year, man. They are too solid this year. And then Kentucky versus Illinois. This is the matchup I want to see, and I think a lot of college basketball fans around the country want to see. We want to see Kofi Cockburn versus Oscar Tshiebwe, man. I would love that matchup. And honestly, I'm going with Kentucky. I think that they would win that matchup. It would be a really fun one. I would love to see this. This would be one of my favorite matchups to watch in the entire tournament. Illinois versus Kentucky. This would be amazing, and I hope we get to see that, man. All the Elite 8 matchups are like matchups I'd love to see, like Gonzaga UCLA rematch. Even though we've seen that in the regular season, I do think UCLA will play them a little bit better come tournament time, especially in an Elite 8 game. Auburn versus Purdue, both teams who have made Elite 8 runs. Auburn in their case was a Final Four team, and I think that was in the same year, 2019, the year Virginia won. Virginia actually beat both of them, and that was when Purdue had Carson Edwards. It was a fun run, and then Auburn had that fun team that made the Final Four. They both lost to Virginia, who ended up being the national championship, so that would be a fun matchup there, especially Jabari Smith versus Jaden Ivey, and then Zach Edey versus Walker Kessler. That would be awesome to see. And then Kentucky, Illinois. Who does not want to see Tshiebwe versus Cockburn? I don't think anyone would be against seeing that game. So all these Elite 8 matchups are absolutely fire, man. Absolutely fire. But, hey, man, let's go on and do our last region, and then we'll make our Final Four picks. So Arizona versus Longwood. Give me Arizona. Easy pick there. St. Mary's versus Wake Forest. Ooh, that could be a fun one. St. Mary's, solid team. Wake Forest, they just had a good battle with Duke. And that was in Cameron. So give me Wake Forest, actually, to win that game as a 9 over the 8. Michigan State versus Davidson as a 12 over 5. They're putting Davidson as a 12 seed? Easy pick for me, especially because Michigan State has been inconsistent recently, especially because they lost to Rutgers recently, and I think they lost to somebody else recently in the Big Ten who is not that good. So, yeah, give me Davidson. That is a very, very good draw for Davidson. Definitely give me them to beat Michigan State in the first round, 12 over 5. Vermont versus Tennessee. Now, Vermont is sneaky. Vermont could be a good team in the tournament, but Tennessee has showed me enough to where I'm going to pick them to win in the first round. UConn versus either Michigan or Memphis. This is a tough one. Michigan and Memphis, both teams that were supposed to be very good this year. Of course, Memphis has Imani Bates and some high recruits, and Michigan has Hunter Dickinson and some good players. And they were a 1 seed last year. But this is tough, man. UConn is a solid team. I think I'm going to pick the 11 seed. Who do I think would win between Michigan and Memphis? I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan is going to beat Memphis if that is the play-in game, and also beat UConn in the first round. So that's a little bit of a bold prediction. But hey, we're all about upsets, man. I love seeing upsets. Upsets are bound to happen every year. So let's do it, man. Baylor versus Montana State. Give me Baylor for sure. If they're healthy, man, they are one of the scariest teams in this tournament. Xavier versus Indiana. That is tough. I'm not too high on Xavier, but I am gonna pick them to win first round here. Duke versus Yale. Give me Duke. Duke. All right. So now Arizona versus Wake Forest. Wake Forest, solid team. I could see them giving Arizona a little bit of a run for their money, but I think Arizona will get that one done. Davidson versus Tennessee. And I got to go with Davidson, man. They have a solid team this year. They have a solid player who can take over the game. Give me Davidson. They look awesome this year as an upset over Tennessee. Let's get it, man. Why not? Michigan versus Baylor. An 11-seeded Michigan. Could they get it done? I am going to go with Baylor. I'm going with Baylor. I think Michigan is turning up right now, which is the right time to turn up. But if Baylor gets all their guys back and they're healthy, they are a tough team to beat, man. They are a tough team to beat. So, yeah, give me Baylor to win that one. Xavier versus Duke. Like I said, man, Xavier, they have a few solid players, but I'm just not too high on them. So, I'm going to rock with Duke here in that one. Of course, they got Paulu. They got some solid freshmen. Coach K's last year. Gonna make the Sweet 16. Arizona versus Davidson. And I know I'm gonna get a little bit of heat for this, but I'm going with Davidson. I'm going with Davidson, man. I think that they could make a little bit of a run in this tournament. And I definitely don't think that Arizona is like this unstoppable team. Like, they have some solid players. They're killing it there in the Pac-12, which is not the best conference really at all. Give me Davidson to upset the 1-seeded Arizona, man. Let's get it. Davidson to the Elite 8 for the first time since they had Steph Curry. Let's do it. Baylor versus Duke. And I'm sorry, Duke fans. I got to go with Baylor. It would be a fun matchup, but Coach K's last season ends in the Sweet 16. And Baylor moves on. If they have their full team, like I said, they are a scary, 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 scary team. So give me Baylor to win that one. And finally, we do have Baylor versus Davidson. Now, this would be an awesome matchup, especially if Davidson just knocked off Arizona. They're going to be hyped up. They're going to play their asses off. But give me Baylor to defeat Davidson. Our Cinderella story of the year goes down in the Elite 8. And Baylor moves on to the Final Four. And I just had to have a Big 12 team in the Final Four as well, because the Big 12 has been killing it. So here's what our Final Four is looking like. We got Gonzaga, Purdue, Kentucky, and Baylor. So we got 1 seed, we got a 2 seed, and we got 2 seeds and a 3 seed. So not too bad. Gonzaga versus Kentucky. Another matchup I would love to see. Sheboy versus Timmy. Who would get it done? Man, that would be awesome. That would be totally awesome to see. Gonzaga versus Kentucky. I kind of feel like Gonzaga would win, man. I feel like Gonzaga would win that one, but I'm picking Kentucky. I'm picking Kentucky to move on to the national championship and defeat Gonzaga in the Final Four. Purdue versus Baylor. This is an interesting matchup. Baylor is a tough defensive team. Scott Drew, they just won the championship last year. So it would be a tough out. But I love this Purdue team. I think they have great bench play, especially with Travion Williams. Definitely 6th man of the year. So give me Purdue to move on to the national championship. So we got Kentucky versus Purdue in the championship game. Zach Edey and Travion Williams versus Sheboy. We got Jaden Ivey versus Ty Washington and the crew. This would just be an awesome championship game. Purdue. This is a tough pick for me, man. I don't know. I like both these teams a lot. I think they both have potential to win the championship. Obviously, I have them both in the championship game. But I think I am going to go actually with the Purdue Boilermakers to win the championship in 2022. So in my first bracket, I'm picking the Boilermakers to win the national championship. This is what my full bracket is looking like. So, hey man, this was really fun to make. If you guys want to see me create a bracket on Joe Lunardi's Bracketology, like maybe once a week as a series, definitely let me know down below in the comment section, and be sure to let me know who you think is winning the national championship this year, and subscribe for more college basketball content and more bracket videos like this. So definitely subscribe. We're really close to 1,000 subs, so help your boy out. And yeah, it's been your boy Danny. I'm out.